Well, I was told absolutely 5 minutes ago what this show was going to be about, as we were surprised with a dear friend, local celebrity, and now going to be Texas whiskey expert soon. Michael Urie joins us on the show on this episode of Texas Whiskey.
Surprise, Jimmy.
I never get to finish an intro.
Interrupting cow, interrupting chicken.
Welcome to this episode of Texas Whiskey. My name is Jimmy Hayes Nelson. Most people just call me Coach Jimmy. And to my right over there is the doctor, Mr. Whiskey, Mr. Interrupter himself.
Hello.
Nico Martini. How are you, sir?
Hey, bud. How's it going? I
It's
have a surprise
great.
for you.
Hey, do you have a surprise for me today?
I do.
I literally thought we were going to sit down and do a Texas 101 whiskey, and in rolls our dear friend, Mr. Michael Urie. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm great, and I apologize in advance for my lack of whiskey knowledge.
That's the point. This will make the show better.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
good. But I definitely have all the tea on the two of you.
Oh, yeah. So maybe not let you drink too much before that comes out.
No kidding.
So welcome back to Dallas. How long has it been
Thank
since
you.
you've been here?
Pre-pandemic,
Okay.
for sure. This is my first time in Dallas since Panny.
Since Panny.
Since Panny 2020.
crazy.
It's been a while. It's been a little while since I've been up here.
That's nuts,
It's nice
man.
to be here. I got a great tour of the city from Nico today. Seeing all the new stuff,
All the new
old
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
My office and
Oh. Yeah.
other errands I had to run.
Right.
Great.
You had Bed Bath & Beyond. Was it a big Saturday or Monday for you guys? Nice.
Costco.
Yeah, all the things. So, Michael, for those of our audience that aren't familiar with you, which is a tragedy if they're not, can you give us a little background on your growing up here in Dallas, Texas?
Yes.
And
Oh,
then,
gosh.
like, I don't know where to start with your career. Like,
Oh,
I
my gosh.
Did you bring a resume? Can I just read it off?
Yeah, I always have a resume.
I do
course.
want you to know that there was an alternative version of the surprise.
Okay.
In which Michael was going to walk through the door and just come slap you.
Oh, nice. Very timely.
Very time.
Well, we'll see if it says time. If the show is live,
Right.
it would be very
would be
timely. If
very
this one doesn't go on the
timely.
air for 2 weeks, that news cycle will have passed by then.
Something tells me we're going to be talking about the slap.
You think
in
we'll talk
2
about the
weeks.
Will Smith slap for more than 2 weeks?
I think we're going to be talking about the Will Smith slap for the rest of our lives. I actually think that it will be a part.
So instead of pre and post pandy, it's pre and post slap. Is that also like going to be?
It's like a touchstone moment, certainly of the Oscars. It's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be a touchstone moment forever, as much as, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway calling out the wrong name.
Yeah.
Yes. Or what was the one you said last night?
Or-
Giselle Gazim.
Adele Dazeem.
Oh, Idina Menzel. Yeah.
Adele
John
Dazeem.
Travolta.
And the streaker in the 60s, the guy who ran, who streaked across the stage in front of David Niven.
Oh, and it wasn't the Oscars, but what else was? It was Steve Harvey was the wrong name at
Miss America.
Miss America
yes.
too.
Miss
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. So
Yeah, so anyway.
your history here in Dallas.
Yes. I grew up in Dallas. I moved here when I was a kid, when I was like 6 years old, from Houston, and I grew up here in Plano, and then moved to New York when I was 19 to go to school, and went to acting school, and then became an actor.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's so we all know each other. That's what we always talk about. It's funny to watch, like, you actually go on and have amazing, career and a lot of success, but we've watched everybody else from this tiny little theater department here in
many
Plano
people.
go off and do so many other things inside and outside of entertainment. How many have found their way into different entrepreneurial sectors?
Absolutely.
But there's something about the skill set I feel like we all were kind of started with there that has helped all of us along the
100%.
way.
Yeah, I mean, all of everybody who studies drama becomes a good citizen. I think, like, if
that the moral of the story?
If you learn how to make a play,
Yeah.
like put on a show,
Yeah.
if you learn the skills it takes to put on a show, you are a good citizen for the rest of your lives. You might not be good at specific things, but
Sure.
like it doesn't necessarily mean you can go off and become a doctor, but you might be able to. Well, actually, I know a guy who was in my class at Juilliard who's a psychiatrist now.
Oh, really?
Now, but that's a little bit different. Not like
I feel like
brain
there's
surgery.
this spirit of like a collaboration.
Yeah.
That you have to, putting a
Yes.
show on and playing a
Teamwork.
role and teamwork.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely.
teamwork and show must go on, and like telling a story together, working together to tell a story.
Well, I mean, just as an example, when the thing that I wound up doing when I sort of left theater was the digital marketing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I wound up doing the digital marketing thing was because I would look at these, I would look at a brand or whatever online and kind of think about it from the perspective of, they have a specific message. They have a specific audience. They have specific tools in which they're trying to elicit specific emotions from their audience. This is directing. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just theatrically directing. And if you do it right and you're a storyteller, that's what a good digital brand, that's how you interface with people online. The good ones, you're in their story and they're
Right.
telling you their story and you're absorbing their story.
Yeah.
And so it's so pervasive through everything that I have a bachelor's degree in theater and I have a master's degree in emerging media and communications, and now I write books and make whiskey.
And drink whiskey
And
once a week here
But
on the set.
I wouldn't be doing either one of them if I hadn't come from this background.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
thoroughly convinced. Absolutely.
One other funny little side note before we move on to this tasting, with it being awards season, I make this joke every year that I get screeners every year, and I have you to thank for that. As no longer a professional actor, I always say, oh yeah, I got my SAG card because you helped me work on Ugly Betty for a year. And that's where, after I drove your car from LA to New York, and you were like, hey, we're moving Ugly Betty from LA to New York. Do you want a gig? And I was like, yeah, because I was passing out like chocolates in Times Square and really shitty jobs. Yeah, I would like to be on a TV set. And then the year
gosh,
on Betty is where I got my SAG card. And so I just continued to pay my dues.
SAG card on that.
Yeah, and so I continued to pay my dues and, did some work back here. I guess I technically still have an agent here as well. But I was like, okay, I'm never just going to let that go because who knows? Maybe there's another season of my life that, I want to continue that. But the biggest bonus is every year at awards time, I get a bunch of movies in the mail.
SAG voter.
So I'm like, okay, I've actually seen everything this year because you get all the DVDs in. But that was...
Or links. Now.
Yeah,
Now you get
links now. And so...
actually, when I get DVDs now, I'm annoyed.
Really?
I don't even have a DVD player anymore.
I have an Xbox, so I'm like, I just kind of roll that way. But
Nico has a CD player.
I do.
Oh, nice.
I realized that I have a CD player in my car like 2 weeks ago. I've had the car for 7 years, but I remembered I have a CD player.
But that was that was a full season. It was really cool to be in a day out with you and see how, to just see how a network show works. And then
so you were like one of the people who worked in the office.
Yeah, the Modies.
The Modies. Yeah, right. The place where we all worked. So lots of scenes,
I think that might have been the birth of where I wear suits and shit now. Maybe
have y'all
it was
said the words "Ugly Betty"?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Sorry, Ugly Betty. For those of you that don't know, network television, Ugly Betty, which Michael was a show which Michael was a part of. How many seasons?
4 seasons.
4 seasons?
Yeah, you can see it on I don't know, Hulu or something.
Let's just say Hulu.
The internet. Just say the internet.
Yeah.
You can see it on the internet.
Just search the internet for Ugly Betty and you'll find Michael. So anyway, I just thought that was always funny because I was like, oh yeah,
and
award
in
season
3 or 4?
I think it was 3.
You can find Jimmy.
You can find me walking around filing papers often.
You got the audience got to know those characters.
No, and that's exactly what you said. You're like, they want the same people there as opposed to new people, every week.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to the directors and stuff because there was episode 1, there was a lot of us. And by episode 3, there were like 12 of us, 15 of us that were like core stayed for it. And it was, number one, having a consistent job at the time was awesome. And, just having that experience, I think.
And everyone was so cool.
It was such a great cast. And the more and more public speaking stuff I've done, shows and things like this, I know that was just great training ground for things like this as well, and being
overlaps, man.
It all overlaps.
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
Production work is all like problem solving.
Yeah.
There's no, because no 2 scenes are the same, really. I mean, in TV, you start to this is like that scene, but no two movies are the same. No two scenes or like stories or episodes are the same. So every time it's starting over.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem?
And the show must go on. So even if you don't come up with the right solution, you have to have a solution.
By the end of the night,
the show must go on.
Or a very, very long day when it's 1 a.m, when you're still looking for a solution. Yeah, you have to at some point figure it out. Awesome. I think we're supposed to drink whiskey at some point on this show.
We usually start the show with a little bit of whiskey.
But I didn't,
Well, my work in the theater has given me a pretty discerning palate for whiskey.
Okay.
Because we drink in the theater.
Yes.
I think that was other good training ground for all of us before this as well. Like alcoholism, I think that runs rampant in theater and show business. So
In London, the theaters all have bars. I mean, backstage, like there's bars.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah. They're like proper bars.
So you're
With
constantly
proper
telling your
bartenders?
agent
It's an
you want to do more
exaggeration,
shows in London? Is that
Oh,
is
yeah.
that what you're saying?
Always trying to get work in London, but I'm American. They have actors over there. It's so weird.
We didn't invent this stuff over here?
No.
Oh,
No.
Newsflash.
This is breaking news
This is
on
breaking
your
news.
show today.
Here we go.
With this Shakespeare guy. Right.
So let me ask you this: What do you know about Texas whiskey? What is your just blanket, very broad question?
Well, one of my dearest friends wrote the book on Texas whiskey. As a matter
tell.
of fact,
Yes, have you read it?
I have bought it.
The cover is beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is a beautiful
and
cover.
it's so heavy.
Yeah. It seems
Thick,
important.
Many pages. No, I haven't read it, but I guess the short answer is I know a little about Texas whiskey because of you. I know that one of the things I found most interesting you told me just today was about how much teamwork there is among the different brands in Texas, which is not the same everywhere.
Right.
And that does strike me as a very Texas thing that people work together. And
I call it's barn raising, man. I mean, at the end of the day, like the culture of this state, it's barn raising. Like
That's cool.
It
That's
is
a cool way to put
community
it.
thing. Yeah, we're used to that.
Yeah, so there's blending of flavors and mixing of ways of doing things, and I think that's really cool, and that seems very, very.
Everybody talks.
Yeah.
Like everybody talks here.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
one of
mean,
the very first things Nico and I did before we even started the show, when we were talking about how can we work together and we do some things, we went down to the Texas Whiskey Festival a little over a year ago now, and it was the same thing. You see these people that would have been competitors going to tastings together, watching this kind of collaborative spirit, going back to this same idea of working together where, yes, they're competitors, but they want everybody to win because they want this region and this idea of Texas whiskey to really, establish itself. It's only 15 years old. And so,
Is that right? It's only 15 years old? Meaning there's no whiskey in Texas older than...
Meaning that, I mean, the oldest whiskey made in Texas that's been put out. I think Dan's got some tenure that he hasn't
Garrison
put out
Brothers?
yet. I think Herman Marshall has some tenure that they haven't put out yet. That's it.
Wow.
And they're not even out yet. Essentially, everything here is max 3 years, absolute max 3 years.
And so I'm interested. So, but if I heard Nico right, are you more of a Scotch guy? Is that your jam? So you're talking old things?
I do like a Scotch.
Okay.
Yes. I my favorite drink.
How many bottles of whiskey? What bottles of whiskey do you own? You could also have you been in possession of recently?
So the last bottle I had that I still have in home, I live in New York, but was a Lafroig 10, which is my usual.
That's your go-to.
That's my usual. That's that's what people give me because they know I drink it as a gift. They know that I like that, so they'll give it to me. There have been not every show, but occasionally on a show, I'll have a bottle backstage for guests, depending on the kind. I mean, back when we used to be able to have guests backstage, but that's a nice sharing. There's some I kind of like that. It makes a statement.
Yeah.
It's also it feels cleansing. There's something clean about it. Very clean about it to me, and I feel when I drink it, I feel clean. I started drinking it. I'd had it, and then when I was doing a one-man play, and it was extremely grueling.
Yeah.
It was just the last time I saw you.
It was the last time we saw each other.
And I was like, I gotta stay healthy, but I'm not.
Not that.
I'm
There's
not gonna
levels of
stop
healthy.
Just I can't not drink. While
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I was partying. I couldn't.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I could not go party. I could not.
So you needed something,
tie one off.
kind of quality, classy that you could just.
That I could have a little bit of and feel something.
Yeah. All right. So Nico's making a call here as we talk about this. So this is going to be
So
interesting.
that was the last one I had, and I also an Ardbeg. I had an Ardbeg recently. Okay, listeners.
Oh, can you pass the?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
It's kind of a puff
Oh, is
puff
this-
give
oh, I'm
situation.
sorry.
No. You keep the glass. I'll take the bottle.
It's a puff give situation.
Yeah.
You're just gonna drink from the bottle.
Okay,
am.
so real quick, right before we
Okay.
dive into this tasting, and I haven't even told you this. However, you will be hearing these words a lot from now until May. So speaking of the Texas Whiskey Festival, Grayson Whiskey, my whiskey brand, is giving away 4 VIP tickets to the Texas Whiskey Festival.
Lovely.
So I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we will be, it'll be.
I don't know what that means to you,
very
the
straightforward.
audience, but there at some point will be
There will
some
be-
tickets
it'll
that maybe
be-
you can get,
It'll probably
and we'll
be
figure
a
that
Facebook,
out later.
It'll probably be an Instagram.
Sure.
Like it'll definitely be an online thing. But just heads up, we are trying to take some of our listeners and some Grayson Whiskey fans down to the Texas Whiskey Festival with us.
Lovely. That's awesome.
So generous.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mr. Michael, who loves Lefroy, and Lefroy is a Scottish whiskey. Lefroy 10, it's 10 years old, hence the name 10, and it is peaty as fuck.
Right.
That is Lefroy.
You're just licking some
It
pee.
is.
That's just,
yeah, you might as
it's
well.
just-
Here's
It's like drinking a wallet.
his a wallet.
It's good.
Absolutely. Yeah, here, chew on this. So
Okay.
so what we are going to be doing now, this exercise.
Yes.
I grabbed the peatiest Texas whiskeys that I had in my possession. The
Okay.
only one that I didn't get that I was hoping we could bring, however, I have something that's kind of adjacent, was the Andalusia Striker.
Gotcha.
Which is what we are drinking right now. We are drinking the Revenant Oak. This is a peated whiskey from Andalusia. This right here is 100 proof. And
100 proof.
this is 100 proof. Yes, this
Can I-
is,
can
this
I
is
ask-
going to be one of the lightest ones that we drink. Just
Yeah.
FYI, I'm just starting off nice and easy.
That drive
with
to
just
Austin
a
may be
little
happening later.
100 proof.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
So is everything you grabbed a single malt?
Yeah. No. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just asking, because that would be more
No,
along the lines
this is
of
not.
what you would drink.
This
Yes.
is not, but this is.
The brimstone. And then
Dear
I have the
listeners.
Still Austin wheat whiskey here as well. But
Which we can.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm just curious, just
Yeah,
going
no, he-
along the Scotch path, if
No.
that's everything you grabbed was single malts.
we about to blow the hell out of our palates.
Okay,
So
lovely.
yeah, it's not. We shouldn't even have the wheat after because we won't. We'll think it tastes peaty.
because yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right, so we are starting with the Reverend Oak from our friends at Andalusia, right outside of Austin in
Yes.
Blanco, Texas.
Yep. So this is a 100 proof whiskey. It's a single malt. I believe this is about 3 years old, if I remember correctly.
I can tell you that.
It's at the bottom. And
Aged a minimum of 3 years in charred oak barrels.
so this is sort of the lightest peaty one that we've got. What thoughts? Do you like this?
Yeah, I do like that. It's very smooth.
Ah, so you need peatier.
I do. But
I knew it.
But it is peaty. It's definitely
is?
peaty. It's very smooth. It's not sweet, but it's got that.
Yeah, it's kind of, especially on the nose, it's kind of got like a sugary kind of caramel. Not it's not caramel.
It smells. It's different than it drinks.
You'll find that in peat, like a little bit.
I like it though.
Now this, I have provided you a dump bucket if you would like to dump, because I know that you have to. We are
And Nico,
doing things after.
I feel like I've asked this question before, but we're just going to repeat this anyway.
Yep.
What is it that brings out that peaty flavor? If it's all charred oak barrels, is it the barrel? Is it the what makes something more peaty than
Oh
something
no, they
else?
smoke the barley. They smoke the barley with peat. Like
Okay.
peat is a thing. It's a bog.
Yeah.
They have to go into bogs and cut it out. It's physically like a log.
Okay.
How did they figure that out?
And
Who was the guy that was like, you know what we should do?
Scott.
It's not even let's drink that. It's
Right.
let's mix that with our drink.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Somehow
don't.
they figured out maybe the smell to the taste. Maybe they tried to eat
I
it.
have no idea.
Were they
I think
cooking
it was-
something and,
Honestly,
like-
it was probably accidental. They were probably trying to stay warm in the barley room, and then all of a sudden they were like, "This tastes good." Okay,
So is that says reverent as well?
haha.
Aha.
Now what we're doing with this?
So we have
This is the Revenant Oak. This is a distillery only one, huh? This is a distillery only one. This is heavy peat. This is the Andalusia heavy peat.
What do you mean when you say distillery only?
I
think I had a friend-
It means you can't buy it at a liquor store. It's only sold at the distillery.
I think I had a friend growing up we called Heavy Pete.
Heavy Pete's?
Yeah.
Was there another Pete?
Yeah.
Good old Heavy
Skinny
Pete.
Pete and Heavy Pete. Yeah.
Skinny Pete and Heavy Pete. Okay, so yeah. So this is the same whiskey with more of a focus on the peat flavor, which I thought was super cool. What do you think of that, my man? Closer to what you're looking for?
Okay, so that one's got
You don't have to say good, bad, like at all.
no, definitely good.
Okay.
And so was the other one.
Right on.
Excellent.
Okay.
Even.
Nice.
But this one is a little bit more my nose, I feel. Mm-hmm. And a little bit, it's got a nice flavor.
Okay.
It's got a
Okay.
really nice flavor.
So you were talking about like 100 proof and everything. Do you feel like this one, if you were going to judge by proof, do you feel like this one seems like a higher, lower proof? Do you feel like it's pretty similar?
Higher. I would say higher.
How much higher?
Well,
Give us
I
a
know
guess.
the other one was 100.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
give us a guess.
110?
Okay.
131.6.
Wait, it can be more than 100?
Oh,
wait.
Nico's whiskey's 119.4. I only know that because I wrote it on 1,000 bottles.
I didn't know you
What-
could. Okay,
look.
I did not know you could go over 100.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And a beer is what? Like 6 proof?
I'd like 11. I don't
Yeah,
know.
6%, so you double
it.
it,
Depends on
12,
the beer.
right.
Yeah.
But 131.
Wow.
Cool, huh?
But that's one of the things. Okay, so
Very cool.
This entire show has been an education process for me, and one of the things that I've learned is these things that think that they're just going to taste like rocket fuel because you see numbers like that really drink relatively smooth. But that and some of the bourbons the same way that are higher proof.
This is going to be an interesting test. Okay. This is a your glass, please. So.
And Michael, this so far is the most responsible show we've ever had.
Yes,
we have
it really
never
is.
had dump
We've
buckets
never had dump glasses.
in the show. Usually, if you go back and watch any of our shows, the end are always a little more interesting.
Lively. We get
Live.
livelier.
Two
When Nico
sips.
starts cussing, we know it's time to wrap the show.
Okay, so this is a Balcones. This is the Froke, which is French oak. This is their 10-year anniversary. So this is a
I haven't had this.
no. It's actually pretty rare. I completely forgot that I had it, and I saw it when I was looking for peated whiskey, and I was
like the
oh,
color.
This is not peated. This is not peated. However,
Not peated.
It's not peated. However, it's very, very Texas. Well, but I do think that this might be something that you could be into. So,
Oh my gosh, I love the color.
59.9% alcohol.
yes,
So again, over 100 proof.
yeah, and that,
It's almost
everybody-
chocolatey looking.
Yeah, dude, it's yeah, it's pretty. You can see that. Yeah, audience, you can totally see that. I'll put it right there.
Now this smells more like the single malts we've had on the show.
Yeah.
And so what makes this one rare specifically? It's
It's finished in French oak,
French oak.
or
Okay.
it might be aged in French.
The big Florida Lee on there probably gives that away.
Yeah. So, this is going to be more of a. This is going to be a little more of a.
Well,
You know, like a traditional
Single-
Scotchy vibe, single malt vibe. What do you think? Oh, I love that.
Of course you do. You love every single malt finished in anything. So we've established that on the
I
show.
don't know if it's finished. It might just be.
Oh,
It
okay.
might just be aged. I
Sorry,
think it might
we
just
were
be
asking
aged
Michael's
in French.
opinion. This is his show today, not ours. Go ahead.
I found that to be a bit greasy. And,
Okay.
And
And they are very Balcones in general is very oily. It's very texture based. Like
Yeah.
yeah, dead on. Absolutely.
very flavorful.
Not your
And a
vibe.
really good finish.
Okay.
But where's my Pete?
Okay.
Yes,
I got you.
right.
All right. Okay. Well, now
Ain't no Pete, Michael
Okay.
ain't playing.
now we're gonna play this one. So, audience, if you are familiar with Texas whiskey at all, I'm pouring Brimstone.
Ah.
That sounds promising.
It does.
Wait.
What? Oh, do you have a different? Here, give me that one.
I don't know why I have 2 glasses.
Yeah, you're doing great. Okay.
We come over prepared.
Just, whatever. If you want to keep one.
I'm a fan of this one.
Ooh,
Okay.
I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'll tell you how
Yeah.
I describe
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah.
I like the smell.
Okay. The smell is pretty.
What about it do you like?
Oh God, that smells good.
Smells like.
I'm just gonna drink this one.
Well, you should.
There's no dumping of this one.
You know what it smells like? It smells like pepper.
Okay.
Like a pepper.
Okay.
Just food. It's got a food smell to me. Makes me hungry. Makes me want to eat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Taste and see.
What's the age on it? It's crazy. This is a crazy whiskey.
It's so good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Okay.
What did you want to know on this?
I want to know the age. This is not single malt.
Really?
This is blue corn whiskey.
Wow.
Okay, the back of this bottle says aged at least 1 day in oak.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
I mean,
I think it was aged a little more than 1 day.
I haven't drank that much yet. It's like,
Is it a joke?
So this is campfire.
Yeah.
This is campfire in a glass, and that's the goal of it. There's kind of like you almost get like a it smells like masa, like the stuff that makes tamales before you actually cook them, because it's a very, very, very strong corn, but it's almost so strong that you can't even recognize it as corn.
okay, this is the way I describe this one all the time. I call it their barbecue whiskey.
Yeah.
And as a kid, my mom, we'd go to, Sam's and get the big pack of all the different barbecue or all the different chips, the Lay's chips. And when
Yeah.
you got the barbecue bag and you just opened the
Oh,
bag and you took a big
yes.
sniff of Lay's barbecue chips,
Yes.
that's what this is for me.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic description.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I know you prefer everything being a dessert, but that's my go-to. It reminds me of Lay's barbecue chips.
Now, I believe that... Are you okay? Okay. Oh, my God. We lost him. We've lost him, folks. Okay. Medic! I believe, I'm almost positive, this is part of their core lineup, meaning I think you can get this in New York. I think you can get this in
really?
California. Yeah. So, Balcones Brimstone.
Balcones is one of the
Balcones
ones is I
Brimstone.
have more and more conversations outside of the state, go to speaking events and stuff,
Yeah,
and
they
I
know
bring
it.
up the show. Balcones is one of the one out of three that people are like, oh yeah, I've heard of that one. It's always Balcones, it's Garrison Brothers, or it's TX whiskey, are the ones that they go, oh, I'm familiar with.
Okay. Sticking with Balcones. We only have two
They
more.
do lots of things.
This, my good friend, you have not had this.
Okay,
Because this
is the second Balcones I haven't had yet.
this came from the distillery
It's
last
literally
week.
It's
called
called
peated.
peated.
This
So
is
Michael, if you don't
Balcones
like this one,
peated.
we give up.
But however, this is also finished in Sauterne casks.
Okay.
So this is not single malt.
This is single malt.
Oh, this
it is a
is.
peated single malt that they finish in a Sauterne cask.
So Nico, often on the show, he's a huge fan of finished whiskeys where they're going to finish it in something sweet.
Else.
Yeah, like a wine cask or honey or port. Sauterne, that's a dessert wine? Is that correct?
Yes,
Did I make that up?
it is.
Oh, wow.
It is a dessert wine.
Isn't
Yes,
that what we had last
absolutely.
night with
It is.
Sarah?
This is what we had last night. So we're going to
Sauterne, not that whiskey.
No. This whiskey.
Oh, you
But
had
no,
that.
we had Sauterne as well.
No. We had Armagnac. Jesus, how bougie do we sound right now?
I had.
No, we had Armagnac.
I don't know where it's. Wait, how do you? How
That
you?
was after the Pisco flight. Before we just
Well, I don't
had a little bit of.
I don't know
cognac
what's
to
more
finish
bougie, the way you say tamales or
I
that
say
you
it
just
because I'm Mexican and I say it with the freaking accent.
Yeah.
It pains me every time I have to describe Blanco, Texas.
Well, yeah.
Because white people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or is that like in New York where Houston Street is
Yes.
it? You're like, come on.
Right.
This is Houston.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm from Houston,
Right.
and
Do you refuse to call it Houston?
it sounds out Houston. I'm sorry, I'm Team New York here.
I'm Team New York.
It looks
You've
like
been there too
Houston.
long.
It should be pronounced Houston.
Okay, so tell me more about this. I have not had this.
Yeah,
It's a
this
single
is
malt.
brand new. It's available at the distillery right now. I don't know how many they made, but they didn't make a ton of it. But yeah, it's their peated single malt. So this is Balcones, their Texas one, but it's the peated version of it. But it's also finished. It's a really, really, really interesting whiskey.
Over 100 proof, yes.
It's 5 years old.
Yes.
In?
Oh, we may have a winner.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you're
Yeah.
looking for? Okay.
That's it.
All right. Right on. Cool.
Nice, like a burn.
Chest burn.
Yeah,
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Pretty good.
So when all your writers now, people are going to this in your dressing room now. Like this is
Wow,
just
that's
request
gonna
the.
be-
Hear me, Hollywood.
You're gonna make some people mad. That's hard to find.
There's a
Tell them to
distillery.
call me.
This is
I
true.
know
Call
I'm
me.
doing a show in New York, but there's a distillery in Waco. I need you to go find me a bottle.
Wait, did we go to this place? You
Possibly
took me to
a distillery in Waco. Then yes. Then
Didn't-
yes.
on the way
it's-
on the way back from Austin,
Yeah, we probably
a couple years ago?
Yeah, we probably stopped by. That sounds like something we would have done.
and I was like really hungover.
Yeah. That's,
So nothing better than to stop at a
distillery.
distillery after you're really
I was
hungover.
like, I can't try anything.
I don't even want to smell it.
And then you proceeded to go through the entire flight.
No,
That happens to, right?
Come on. Okay.
I like this a lot.
All right, we got one.
Peated
Mas-
what wasn't there a peated monster you were gonna?
I told you need to get Peat Monster, which is I believe it's Compass Box. It's just an incredibly peated single malt. Like there's a lot.
Oh, you
of
made it sound like it
people-
was some peated energy drink. You're like
Yeah, it
peated
sounds
monster,
like-
and I was like,
It's like Pete Davidson's.
I was
Peated
like,
Monster
I was like
energy.
monster. I was like, I know that they're buying distilleries, but I didn't know that they were having peated monster
Oh
now.
my god, that's great. That
Is
sounds,
it that who bought the brewery in Deep Ellum? Wasn't it the Monster Company that bought Deep Ellum Brewery?
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
actually.
that's an interesting idea. What about
Are we
Just spitballing
We're
here.
gonna have some business
about
ideas right now.
an energy drink that was not that was alcoholic, but
Like
that
Four Loko.
was
Are you gonna pitch me?
flavored?
Are you gonna pitch me Four Loko right now? Isn't
Wait,
that
is
a
that
thing?
already a thing?
Wait, yeah, people like. Four
what's-
Loko is a thing, right?
what's
It's like
Four
a,
Loko?
I mean, it's a
caffeine, high caffeine with booze in it, like a malt liquor or something.
Kinda,
But what
yeah.
about like peat flavored? Like would we want that in an
No.
energy drink?
No.
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 It would be like, would you want a peat flavored iced tea? Would you want to roll into Starbucks and be like, I would take your peated green tea?
Yeah, I'm well not
You
green
might- or whatever.
The peat tea.
Yeah, you'd be down
I
for
think
that.
I would try that. I
Okay.
would definitely try.
Okay.
You know how we have this thing in New York, Brodo. Do you have Brodo here? It's a bone broth. It's like a
Oh, okay.
It's
We
like a
have bone
coffee or a
broth.
tea place, but it's bone broth. And you can just go and get like a cup of
Bone broth.
like
A cup of meat
juice.
That sounds like something that should be in Texas, but yeah.
or
How do
I mean,
we not have
How did we not start
They also
that?
have
Right.
they have vegetarian broth. You know, it's broth.
Yeah.
But it's like
Oh, but it's also cold there, so that also makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're grabbing that on a
delicious.
really hot July New York afternoon of, you know what, it sounds great? Meat in a cup.
I mean, it's not really meat.
I know
You know,
what you
like,
mean, but
like it tastes like, it gives you that sensation of having
yeah,
had meat.
that's interesting.
What are we on?
All right. This is the
The last one. Well, as he's pouring this real quick, so when did you figure out this is what you like? Because I remember it was a few years ago. There was a big Scotch tasting event here in downtown. Nico's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm not really a Scotch guy." And so he made it his mission that night to do a bunch of little tasters like this until we found something. By that point, I think we were just really drunk, and I was like, "Yeah, this tastes great." And so,
We
but
were.
it was,
We were.
it was
Everyone was drunk.
We were in a similar whiskey event like that, like 3 weeks ago.
Responsibly drunk.
So, of course, there were cars called. It was very responsible, but.
Waffle House.
Where was it that you were in? Yes, exactly.
Is he really going to Waffle House?
Probably.
Probably. Where along the way did you decide, or did you discover this is what you liked?
It might have been when I worked in Scotland.
Oh, okay.
I don't really have a memory.
Did you go to Lefroy?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. But you know what they have in the UK?
Okay, let's go. I would love to go to Lefroy. He has to go to Austin next, but after that.
When I was working in London, actually, because people know, I was doing a play in London, and because people know that I like Lefroy, someone sent me a mini Lefroy, which they sell at like the department stores there. Or the only other place I ever saw it was a department store. It was a mini Lefroy, like an airplane.
I mean, a full bottle would have been better, but yeah, that's awesome.
But I kept it. It came in the, Lefroy
like
comes
a-
in those
like a
tubes.
showpiece. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I drank the Lefroy, but I
Yeah, that's awesome.
kept the. I guess I shouldn't have had the Lefroy. That would have been. so cool to still have. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, real quick. Let's do this and then we can go back to chatting. This is a Real Spirits single malt whiskey double barrel program. Now, what they do with their double barrel is they age their single malt, and then once it's ready, they put it into an additional barrel, and this additional barrel is the Andalusia Striker. No, I talked to him this morning. This is a Revenant Oak barrel. So it's finished in the barrel that
So they finish it in this barrel.
In that barrel.
Okay.
So,
Got it. Gotcha. This is that.
So, yeah.
This is that. And another
It's
example
going to
of
be-
those companies working together.
Yeah,
to make
the
stuff.
Definitely
collaboration.
collaboration.
This is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot lighter than the
I like the smell.
peat into it. But man, I love this whiskey.
Great.
Oh, it's so fruity.
Yeah, very fruity, flowery.
Yeah.
But I know that's not your winner. The peated one's your winner.
Oh, no,
By,
you-
like,
That is-
now I understand, like, the Urie palette. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, no, yeah. Like, by this point in the show, I'm like, okay, he's going to be like, it's okay. But, like,
it's
you found your
delicious.
winner. Yeah, that absolutely.
Yeah, the peat. This is the.
That's the one.
That's the winner.
This is great. This
Fantastic.
has like a it kind of. It feels like it's going.
Yeah.
All around. You know, I've tasted.
It's very
everywhere.
light.
It is
So-
really.
It's got a wide taste.
In hindsight, I should have done this before we got to the Revenant Oak. Oh,
Oh, God. Can we
it's
go
okay.
back?
Yeah, all right, let's
and,
do it again. Let's do the show again.
We have to
Start
start
over.
from the beginning.
So would it even be worth,
Jimmy,
like,
I have a surprise for you.
he's sitting here. We've been like
sorry.
45
Okay,
minutes
all
in.
right.
I've been running now. So would it even be worth tasting like the wheat whiskey or anything just to see how, or
can.
are our palates going to be so rocked by this point?
We've all been very, very subtle with everything. Like you could totally taste.
All
you
right,
should
let's do
try
it.
the wheat whiskey. Yeah.
The reason, so I didn't know wheat whiskey was the thing before we started doing the show. And one of the reasons I like that is I was like, okay, so what does Texas do well? And we grow wheat. Well, here, wheat and corn. And so when I was introduced to this was a distillery only.
Yes.
So this is
it is
still
distillery
Austin,
only.
in Austin. And everything they do, I'm a huge fan of. And so for me, the wheat whiskey, because so for the way you are with Scotch, I lean bourbon, corn, that area. So for me, this was like a very unique, take on something I hadn't tried before.
Sorry,
It's okay. You didn't break
fine.
it.
listener. That could have been bad.
Thank you, sir. Oh, I'm good, but thank you. Yes, I'm still sipping these. I have
well,
plenty of booze
gonna
over
try
here.
it.
I will. So I'm.
You should try. You're not gonna try it.
I've had it before. It's very. It's
Actually, 9
quite
times out of 10 when I
delicious.
bring this one, in fact,
and it's rare.
I
so
was
don't
I was
wanna
gonna
taste
save
whiskey.
it for a while, and then Nico forced me to come open it on the show one day.
Well,
I should.
you know,
it's such a big pour.
do you
fine.
remember those 3 or 4 different bottles of whiskey that you picked up and handed to me, and I started to open, and you said, "Oh, I don't want to open it." I'm like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
Well, I did that to Jimmy, not even thinking, and just opened his
On the
bottle.
show.
Oh no! and
Started
he was
pouring
like,
the whiskey.
I wasn't gonna.
So yeah, he kind of whiskey bullied me into opening this thing, but it's fantastic.
You should
and so
drink the whiskey.
I have learned this. Whiskey is
the
not for
whiskey.
saving. Whiskey is for drinking.
Drink the
And now I have this giant collection at home that I look and I'm like, there's so much money sitting on my shelf right now. I'm like, might as well drink it.
You know, I never. I like Scotch, as we discussed, and I never have more than one bottle in my possession at a time.
It's 2 different styles, man. It's 2 different styles of drinking whiskey.
What I've
Absolutely.
learned is I keep opening things just for a little taste. So I have all these one open bottles, and it's time for me to like bring something somewhere or to gift something. And I'm like, I can't bring the open bottle. That would be like bringing an open bottle of wine to a dinner party.
Don't worry. When we come back from Scotland and he comes home with like 6 cases,
Oh, then we're
we'll
good.
have a nice little Scotch collection at that point.
All right, so I wanna
Can't
see what
drink
he-
all of those at the same time.
Sounds like a threat.
Right.
It's more of an opportunity.
Challenge. All right, let's.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, it's complex, but it's also kind of simple in that like the flavors that are there are very pronounced in a really specific way, and it's not necessarily muddy. Like it's a very, very clean, very approachable. Yeah, it's wheat whiskey, man. Wheat whiskey.
And I'd never had this before, and so for me, this was like a whole different genre that I was like, okay, I kind of jam with some wheat whiskey. Yeah.
Wheat whiskey is super, super cool. I'm a big fan of wheat whiskey. I'm glad we've got people in Texas who do wheat well.
They do one, and then
Who we what we well.
yeah, yes.
We have wheat well. We have wheat well.
What it to do? To
What?
die
What?
This is how every
we
show
will.
ends. See, like that.
Yes, we do.
I get it.
You get it now.
I get
Hey.
it.
Whoa, whoa,
Wheat
wow.
wheat well. We do wheat well. Okay.
And then it all went downhill.
Then it all went downhill. So, okay, as we've tasted, you obviously have your winner. Can we talk just about your career for a minute?
Finally.
You're like, oh my God, why am I even on this show?
He's about to fire his PR rep.
Right.
Because we haven't talked about anything other
Right.
than stupid whiskey.
Right. In your multi-decade career, you're like, I've been waiting to be on this outlet to, to promote myself. So you just wrapped a show?
Yes, I just finished doing a play.
Yep.
Called Jane Anger, off Broadway. That was about William Shakespeare. I played William Shakespeare. So I have this beard.
Yes.
In quarantine during the Black Plague of 1606, trying to write but blocked.
Oh.
Got writer's block.
Fun.
And
And is this a new play?
a new play.
Okay.
That was written during the pandemic.
Fun. I see
And
the parallels.
There's so it's so meta. There's so many layers.
Yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, in like my circles and lots of artist circles, people started saying to artists, like, don't take this time off.
Yeah.
Shakespeare wrote King Lear during quarantine. That's true. He did. He wrote King Lear in quarantine.
Right. What else are you gonna do? Yeah, right.
And
You might as
this
well
is a
just hang
play
out.
about Shakespeare writing King Lear in quarantine.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And so that's what people were saying is like a way of like encouraging artists to, to write during
to use this isolated time to create something brilliant.
Create
Yes.
something brilliant. You might make a masterpiece, might go down in history and all that stuff. So that's kind of what the play's about.
That
It's,
sounds annoying. No, it sounds like a great opportunity, but it's also like, come on, I'm going to deal with the
100%.
pandemic the way that I would like to.
Instead of being forced to do
Thank
something.
you very
Yeah, right.
much.
No.
I thought you meant the play sounded.
No. The play sounds amazing.
Right. No. The being forced to be productive. Right. I don't know. You wrote a book.
Right.
Shakespeare wrote plays.
Yeah.
Michael did a play
Michael did a
about
play, yeah.
Shakespeare writing a play. So
It's all the same, you guys. So that was really, really cool.
Awesome.
A really, really fun experience. And hopefully we'll do it again. Like maybe there'll be more life for it.
this is the longest I've gone without going to New York, and I was like, I just want to wait till shows are back open to
back.
go see.
They're all back?
Yeah. Awesome.
We've been back since, this is the second show I've done in New York since the reopening.
That's right.
It was another show in the fall. We've been back since, August was the first show, I think. September. This show I did started in September.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything on the horizon? Do you know what's next?
Yes, I do. I'm going to be doing I have a TV project coming up.
Fun.
And then hopefully more of that play. If not that play, then maybe something similar or different.
Can you talk about the TV project, or is that still?
No, I can't. It's top
I
secret.
figured there was. Is it
For
really?
incredibly pointless and stupid reasons.
Of course. No, we all understand that.
But
You're good on both. Yeah,
always
you're
say-
fun on stage and you're fun on
thank
TV.
you.
So that's
But showbiz is such a fickle business
Is
that
it?
I truly don't believe. Like whenever I get a job, I have friends who are like, "Aren't you going to celebrate? Aren't you happy?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not happy
right.
until it's in the press or until I'm on set.
stage
Like,
or on
in
set.
the rehearsal. Like no, because
When they say
those-
action, I'm kind of more excited about it now. Right.
Whiskey isn't real until it's in the bottle.
I'm sure.
Until then, it's just an idea. Yeah.
well, it's in the bottle.
Yeah. Especially when you have a company that just makes blended whiskey, and the actual making of the whiskey is not up to us. So we have to get everything else and all.
Gotcha.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We're like, yeah, man, whiskey. It's
Segue back to whiskey. Man.
feel ya.
Look at that.
That was effortless, right?
Effortless segue.
I've been doing this for.
All roads go back to Nico. It's really amazing.
Hey, did you know I wrote a book?
Yeah, two of them actually. I didn't even talk about the first one. Michael Urie, I'm so glad you hung out with us today.
Oh my
what
gosh,
a
this was-
fun! Like when that door opened, that was you were literally the last person I thought I would see today waking up this morning.
last person?
Yeah, the last. Like, I didn't,
Wow.
Like, that wasn't.
You really
because what did we
ranked-
say?
You ranked Putin ahead of Michael Urie?
maybe. You know, like,
Or Will Smith.
or Will Smith. Okay.
yes.
I didn't think Will Smith.
Will,
he could use some
I need
whiskey
some
today,
advice.
probably.
He's like, I need to do my apology on your
Texas
podcast.
whiskey.
You're on the Texas Whiskey Podcast. Oh,
I bet some single malt will really help my profile.
That could be a fun like project, like a movie or like a podcast gets this incredible interview that's like not just a big get, but like actual worldwide news gets broken on a podcast.
On some random, like, just niche down podcast. It's not Rogan or something like that. It's just like, oh yeah, the Texas whiskey. That's where he's gonna go talk about it. I think it works. That's our next venture is.
Oh my God.
Anytime somebody needs to apologize.
The hamster's running. Yes. The hamster's just running. Oh man,
Hey, did you guys
awesome.
listen to that podcast, Dead Eyes?
No.
Is it rude to talk about another podcast on a podcast?
No, it's another meta situation here, isn't it?
Is it like not fair? Like
it's
why
fine.
are you plugging in somebody else's pod? It's really excellent.
Dead Eyes?
Dead Eyes.
It's about
Is it a podcast or like one of those series?
no, it's a podcast.
Okay.
I'm literally pitching and I'm plugging a different podcast.
We're looking
fine.
for sponsors, so if they'll be a sponsor, we'll promote them.
Yeah, Dead Eyes.
Yeah.
okay.
Texas Whiskey brought to you by Dead Eyes Podcast
This
and
guy-
Michael Urie.
Dead Eyes is hosted by this guy called Connor Ratcliffe.
Okay.
And in 2000 or 2001, Connor Ratcliffe auditioned for and was cast in Band of Brothers, the HBO miniseries.
Okay.
A few days before he was to shoot, he got a call saying, you have to come to the studio and re-audition because the director of the episode, Tom Hanks, who's also an executive producer,
I've heard of him.
is unsure and thinks you have dead eyes and you have to audition again. Oh. And so he went in and he auditioned again, and Tom Hanks was perfectly nice, and it was a perfectly nice audition, and then he lost the job. He did not.
And this is like days before
keep the job.
shooting?
Yes, and they cast somebody else. And then he left show business for many years and then sort of slowly got back into it, doing comedy and like starting to do guest stars on TV and like UCB. You're checking your watch. I'm sorry.
I'm into this story, Michael.
No.
Just talk to me.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah. No, Dead Eyes. No, this is great. What
Yeah.
other podcast did you want to promote before you leave?
Somebody hit the story. Now I'm into it, damn it.
So the podcast is all about him wrestling with this thing that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
This random thing where Tom Hanks fired him for having dead eyes.
How do you fix dead eye syndrome?
And like he doesn't really have dead eyes. It's like this whole weird. It's really about like show business, but it's also just incredible, and it's kind of a mystery. And spoiler, he eventually gets Tom Hanks on the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
He at the end of the third season, Tom Hanks shows up, and
That's
it just happened. It's all
fantastic.
just happened. So like, if you even Googled it, you would see that Tom Hanks. So I'm
Yeah.
not spoiling it for you.
Sure.
But because it's also, I'm sure it'll also be exciting to listen to, knowing
Right.
that he does get to Tom.
Yeah.
Because he spends the whole thing kind of saying, "I love Tom Hanks, and I would
Right.
love to have him on my show, and I would love to talk about this.
I bet
I would
that's
be honored
fascinating.
to hear if he remembers, which I'm sure he doesn't, and of course he didn't. You know,
Right.
like
Right. Sure.
Of
it
course.
was it was
Yeah.
4 minutes of his day.
Yeah.
4 minutes
20
of
years
his
ago.
life.
Yeah.
That sent this other
Yeah.
guy down years spiral.
Absolutely.
And that has to do with Texas whiskey because it does. Or
because,
title in, Nico, make it happen.
because frankly, in only 4 minutes, you can change your entire whiskey world.
Sir, we'll go with that.
Whiskey World. We want. We
I don't know.
want.
Let's talk.
Whiskey World. Whiskey. Wheat.
Whiskey.
Wheat. Whiskey
Wheat
World.
whiskey. Wheat whiskey.
Wheat. We want. We want.
Okay.
Wheat. Whiskey
This is usually the
World.
point in the show when I say, Michael Urie, I'm so glad that you came to hang out with us for an hour and sip some whiskey.
It was
Buddy.
delightful, and it's
Dude,
so,
it's so good to see you, man. It's so good to catch up.
So proud of
Thanks
you
for
guys
coming
for the
and
show. It's awesome.
sipping with us. Everybody can continue to follow your career, and we're excited to see what's next. This mystery
Please
TV
follow
project.
my career, but don't follow my car.
Don't follow your car. Please. That's why he lives in New York. There is no car to follow. Awesome. Well, for Mr. Michael Urie, for the doctor, Dr. Nico Martini, my name is Jimmy Hayes Nelson, a.k.a. Coach Jimmy. And until next time, what we always say is, cheers, y'all. Sweet, baby.